Hey, everybody. Good evening. This is a short notice show. Just yesterday, we decided we were going to be able to put this show on. We're going to have Andy Kubert and a surprise guest of Jason Schachter joining him to talk about an upcoming Kickstarter that begins tomorrow. So I'm not going to leave these guys in the green room. We've got about an hour of time to go through all the things that we want to talk about tonight. So let me bring in both Jason and Andy. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, thanks a lot. Thanks for having us. Thanks for everything. Just thanks for having us.
Hey, it's well, like we were just realizing, I've never gotten the chance to meet you before, Andy. So I'm this is a fun way to do it on a live stream. I mean, hopefully next time I see you at a show, I'll be able to cut the line and introduce myself properly. But it's great to have you on the show. Like I mentioned, it was a little surprise. I wasn't aware of the Kickstarter coming up until I was talking with Jason the other day about some show and business related stuff, and he said that the Kickstarter was going to start on Tuesday and suggested maybe we get you on for a few minutes. So we got you for around 60 minutes tonight, and thank you for
give or take. Sure, we'll see how everything goes. Yeah,
until everything sells out.
Exactly. So we have we have over 50 people watching us to get this thing started, so that's good. So I want to kind of just get everything started off by just asking, how did this project come about? I mean, for many people, there's a lot of characters and titles that I think people associate you with, Andy. X-Men, if you grew up in the 90s reading comics, obviously X-Men is probably going to be front and center as the team and the characters that people think about regarding you. But how did the idea about the book come together?
Mostly, I think that was from Jason with the Marvel license and stuff. He just asked me if I wanted to put something together. He asked me first how much X-Men art I had and whether I'd be interested in going through everything and scanning through everything and putting together this type of book. And I've seen Jason's books before that he has put together and published, and does a great job with them, and the design element is great. So I said, sure. We worked out all the details, and here we are.
Well, let's be clear, though. I asked you to look through all that art so I can buy some of it. And then the book.
You asked me that, and not kidding, every day.
There's always an ulterior motive, right?
I'm not gonna lie, can't argue with that smart.
It's very nice and flattering, I got to tell you, the art I have left, and I do have a decent amount of X-Men art left, I kind of have a hard time parting with, as Jason knows, Even putting together stuff for this, I'm like, let's pull that. I don't want to get rid of that, blah, blah, blah. But as you know, with Marvel art returns, they give the pencilers 2/3 back and the inker got 1/3 back. So I didn't get everything back, and not even all the covers and stuff. And there are a few pieces that I do regret selling over the years that I kind of wish I didn't do. And so I get kind of hesitant then in letting some of these pieces go.
That's very understandable. I mean, if I recall correctly, your dad held on to a lot of his artwork, and so
yes, he did.
Yeah, and I get that. I think it's your art's a part of you at the end of the day, and it's once it's gone, it's gone. And so I think that's awesome that you've been able to hold on to as much as you have, because so many people that the artists before you sold everything, right? They have nothing left to look at and appreciate, and no, that's a good thing. Yeah. But I would imagine, Jason, that this book isn't going to be all put together from artwork that Andy still has from in his
archives,
personal archive, right?
Yeah, we were lucky enough. We have access to the Marvel archive, so we can track down not everything, but a lot of the older stuff. So we just have to know where to look. And we've asked collectors online for scans as well. Brian Peck gave us the scan to the wedding issue. I forget who else we asked, but well,
before I sold the cover Uncanny 266, I took really good scans of it. So that's what we used on it, before I sold it. That's one piece I regret selling. I really regret that one.
Well, it was a nice one.
It was a good one. Yeah.
Did you hold on to it for a while, or was it a early departure?
It was I sold it a while ago. It was just an offer I couldn't refuse, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was just, but if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't do it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same. You know, I got, like I said, I got quite a few of the X-Men covers left that I have, and I'd be hard pressed to part with them.
We're making friends with his kids, just for that reason.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I mean, when you were working on the X-Men, did you? I mean, obviously, you know, you came in after Jim Lee, so that had to be a little challenging. But maybe, you know, did you feel like when you're coming into it that did you feel any pressure, or was it something that
pressure? Of course, there's all the guy sold what 9 million copies.
I know. Well, that's why
he's like the most popular
that.
artist on the planet. Yeah, it was a little bit of pressure. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. You know. Yeah.
But did Jim give you like a pep talk beforehand saying, "You got this, Andy"?
No. No, he didn't. No. I wish he did, but he didn't. No.
Well,
but he's very cordial every time I see him, you know, and actually it doesn't live that far from me, but you know, we get along really well and stuff. We joke. So no, we get along great.
Well, that's good. Yeah. See, I wasn't reading. X-Men, of course, was my favorite book growing up, but I after I graduated college, I pretty much missed the early 90s of buying comics. You know, I got into college in 87, so stopped buying in 88. I didn't start buying again until after I got married around 97. So I missed Age of Apocalypse and all these great storylines that you contributed to, but, you know, I kind of caught them all on the rewind. It was a crazy kind of period, obviously, I think. And I mean, but while you were in it, did it feel like you were, you know, in this really hyper X related, you know, period in Marvel's history?
No, now it does, you know, since it's all, you know, said and done, and, you know, they've made films out of this stuff, and, you know, the characters, even though they were popular back then, but, you know, they even gained more in popularity you know, from that time. At that time when I was on the book, and I think I don't want to speak for every artist, but mostly every artist, when you're on an assignment like that, is to do the best job you can and get it done on time. That's all you're pretty much concentrating on. Everything else is out of your head. For me, it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know they used to tell me that if sales, when I was on the book, because it was Marvel's #1 selling title for years, you know, and if sales dropped, their term was, we have to make a move, which you knew what that meant. But luckily, and, you know, knock on wood, this table that I'm knocking on is wood. You know, I stayed on for 6 years and held sales up pretty well. You know, they stayed up really, really well. So, you know, that was pretty much the only pressure.
Do you miss drawing that group, that title, you know, that title?
Now I do. Yeah. Back then, after 6 years, I was done. You know, it was enough. But doing that new cover that's for the Kickstarter book, and Marvel used it for Uncanny #1 that just launched for a variant. I had a lot of fun drawing that. That was a blast, you know. And when I drew that, because I hadn't really touched those characters except for Wolverine and Gambit for the most part for commissions and things like that. I wanted to see if I could still draw those characters without looking at reference, see if I could still draw them out of my head, because some of them I hadn't drawn in years and years. And I think I missed Rogue by a belt buckle, or, you know, a buckle on her shirt or something like that. And that was about it. I was still pretty close to it, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Nerd.
Yes, very much so. Big nerd.
that was the first time you've been drawing these characters, you know, for 30 plus years, right? That's the first time you've revisited them since 97, you know, 96.
96 was the last time, yeah. But I did Ultimate X-Men after that, and Wolverine Origin after that. So, you know, I still touched them a little bit.
Right. Did you watch any of the X-Men 97?
No, and I hear it's really good, and it's based off all the stuff I did, but no, I never saw it. I keep, every time I sit down and watch TV, you know, my wife goes, "What are you going to watch?" I just keep forgetting about that one. So I'll watch it.
it took me a while to, people are giving me a hard time about it too, Andy. That 6 months after it was finally done, I think I did finally watch it, and it was worth it.
Yeah, at least you finally watched it. I haven't watched it yet. I'll get to it.
So, so why don't we talk a little bit about the Kickstarter then too? Because it launches tomorrow, right? I mean, is that true? What time?
11 a.m. Pacific is when we're launching. So
okay,
there are a few art reward tiers that I'm assuming you're going to go pretty quick. So if you get in early, you'll be able to get either a remark, one of 20. I think he's only doing 20 remarks, and then we've got I think 20 or 25 preliminary pages, and we're still working on finding some published stuff to put in there. So we might add that later on down. But initially, those are the only original art tiers that we'll have. Of the more limited ones, there's a slipcase edition that we're only making 250 of. That look pretty sweet, and those will come with book plates and signatures and all that fun stuff. So we're really excited. It came out nice. The designers did a good job.
They did a great job on it. Yeah, it looks really, really good. I was really happy with it. It looks very professional. I was like, wow, this looks really good. So no, they did a great job on it.
Yes. It's we're excited.
So you're not the book designer, Jason, or are you? No.
No. We have a few really talented designers that we tell them what we like and they implement it. It's out of my depth when it comes to that stuff. There's better.
It's out of my depth too. I'm not that good at book designing either. Even though I did, laid out the logo. The Andy Kubert. I thought it looked kind of cool to have my name kind of like the X-Men logo in the back, up there. So. That was kind of like my idea, but that's my whole contribution to this as far as design.
Outside of
love it or hate it, that's what I did.
Well, plus all the interior art, but that's
yeah. But as far as the whole book design, that's all I did to it.
Right. I know you sent me a few images that we can share right now. And just so everybody knows, in the show description, there is a link to go and register to get the alert from Kickstarter when the project goes live tomorrow. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So if you haven't already done that, I would recommend you go ahead and take care of that while the show is going on or afterwards. But you're not going to want to miss it if you do want to get any of the art rewards, because they will. I would assume that, like you said, the remarks will probably go pretty quickly, and any of the other art tiers that may eventually come up through this.
Jason, we're doing those book plate remarks, those head sketch things, right?
Yep.
Okay, and the things that were just on the screen were preliminaries that I do before I box those onto the board.
Here, I'll put those back on. I wanted to ask you about that. I wasn't sure. Are those images that are going to be in the book, or you were just talking about?
No, that's part of the. Jason, you're better explaining this than I am.
Oh, I was reading the comments. Repeat the question. My ADHD kicked in. Say that again.
So the prelims that are on the right, you had mentioned just like 2 minutes ago that there were prelims that are like a reward tier, I think. Is this what we're looking at here on the right?
Correct. Yeah, there's I think Andy picked 20 or 25 different layouts from various projects that will include. It's like a grab bag. We just put one in and you get what you get. So you'd have to ask him which titles he picked from, but it's a hodgepodge of stuff. Hopefully.
Oh gosh. What I see on here is there's an X-Men one, Before Watchmen. I think that's a Justice League one, or I forget the one that says crime. But I think there's some from Dark Knight too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a whole gambit of pages. So hopefully those go well, and then we can twist Andy's arm to find some more to add on later on down the road if things go well. But there's not a lot of original tiers. There's this one, there's the remarks, and then we were working on an interior art grab bag. So that's not quite ready for tomorrow.
Right. I remember I just threw this slide together because these images were a little small, but at the image in the upper right-hand corner, I assume is potentially what the remark will look like.
Correct.
And was the second one the slipcase? I can't recall. I remember we talked about this.
It should be in there. I thought I sent you some.
Or maybe that's is that the lower right image?
So the middle one.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so the middle one, the X-Men 24, is a hand-pulled silkscreen print that we're offering. That'll be signed and numbered to whoever wants one in that tier. And then the one on below, the add-on below is an X-Men notebook. So like a sketchbook, you can draw on it. We also put blue lines and notes and cover layouts and all kinds of cool stuff in there.
That is right. I remember you showing us that when we were talking the other day. And another image you sent me, just this is pretty cool. So this is something that kind of we can expect, right? Process shots, finished pieces.
There's some commentary from Andy in there too.
Yeah, I try to do it on, I guess, every maybe third page, something like that, some kind of commentary paragraph. If I could remember, like on some of the X-Men work of what I was thinking when I was doing it, and my approach to it, all that kind of stuff. If I could remember what it was, I would do it. A lot of it was just a total blur because I just had to get it done, But it's funny how that kind of stuff comes back to you as you're looking at it.
Do you have fond memories of working on this?
Yes, I do. I love doing it. It was a 7-day-a-week job for 6 years, but it was a dream job. Actually, I have a dream career. I mean, it's an awesome career, and drawing the X-Men was a dream job doing it. But as you know, any job you're doing 6 days a week, I would get up literally 5 a.m. I would be at my drawing board by 6, and then break for lunch, draw again till 6 at night. Try to make FedEx cutoff time, which was 7 o'clock. And then after dinner, I would go home and eat dinner with my wife and kids, and then I go back and draw again until I couldn't see anymore. And that was 6-7 days a week for the most part for 6 years. It was a lot, but it was a lot of fun.
Here, and this was another image you sent me, Jason. So there'll be some cool, like, images like this that we can kind of fold out from the center of the book.
Yeah, each of the books we do at least one gatefold that you can either cut out as a poster. But that's one of the things I loved about the 90s is some of these things. So we try to include some bells and whistles that you don't, or you might not see in other books.
Can I answer any of these questions on
please
looking
do.
at the right people? Okay, because I see Josh Sloniker. Hey, Josh, I've known Josh from my dad's school, and I haven't seen him in years, but thanks for showing up, man. It's good kind of, well, I don't see you now, but it's good seeing you. And Brian Peck asked me, did you do prelim pages for all the books you worked on? I did up until Dark Knight 3 for the most part. I still do them once in a while, but a lot of them are done now on an iPad Pro. Because it's a lot easier working on an iPad Pro. But I still have up until that point, it was just all done on 11 by 17 copy paper, and then I would just lightbox it onto the regular artboards.
Cool. I'm glad that you were on the comments tab. I forgot to tell you to do that. So you're like a decent veteran at this thing, Andy. I had no idea, man.
Not really. No, not. I didn't even know if I was going to get on here. I couldn't even copy and paste a link. So Jason's walking me through it.
It's easy. If we can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, there he goes. That's so yeah. Brian's asking about do you have ones from X-Men 30? I wonder why he's asking about that. But
do you have the originals, Brian, on that? You might, but is Brian the one that has those, Jason?
Yeah. He was asking about the Nicole Miller stuff.
Yeah, Brian, I don't have the Nicole Miller sketch. They never sent me the sketch. It was just a copy or a fax of the sketch, from what I remember. And I think I have that copy somewhere. If I do, I'll get it to you. I'll make a copy or a scan of it for you. But I don't have the original on that.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you sold them well. The originals Brian's talking about. And James Siegel's been asking about X-Men 25. I don't know why. James has a thing for X-Men. He might be one of Comic Art fans' biggest X-Men fans, if that's even possible. right, Jason? I don't even know. Jason D'Ambrosia might have something to say about that.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there. But James is looking for that back cover, that Wolverine cover that you have. The back cover.
Oh, that first one that I did.
Yeah.
I have it, James. I have it somewhere. I just got to really find it. I know I have it.
He said he'll give you some extra money if you find it.
He just wants to look at it. So, that's all he wants. He can just hold it up to a video camera, and he'll he says you are. James is at the head of the cult too. But
I do have that cover. It was one of the first Wolverine drawings I ever did. It was for oh gosh, I forget. It was a prestige book. I kind of forget what the book was, to tell you the truth, but I did the back cover on it, and then one of the slivers had Wolverine on it. Actually, three of the slivers.
But technically, that was your first Wolverine cover published.
Yeah, yeah, yep, it was. Yep, from what I remember.
I'm trying to read through the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. So you have been doing a little bit of writing here and there, and I saw Ned was asking if you do full scripts or do you just give outlines? How do you usually approach the writing side of your creativity?
Okay, when there was how many projects did I write and draw? One. I forget, but I remember the Batman Son of Damian.
Son of Damian.
I did full scripts for that for myself.
Yeah.
Yep. I wanted to make sure, because it was my first thing I ever wrote. I wanted to make sure everything was there and it was all planned out before I even went ahead and did it. If I was doing it for a while, I would just write a paragraph for the story or something, or a one-page synopsis and just break that down. But I wanted to make sure everything was there, dialogue was there. I had a bunch of people go over the dialogue, editors go over it, just to make sure everything was good, because it was my first one. And I think I wrote a Joker story that had that lenticular cover that came out a few years ago, maybe 9 years ago. I forget what it was, but it was a Joker story. I forget who the artist was. He was a really good artist. Shoot. But that one I wrote a full script for too.
You like writing?
It's hard. That's why I don't do it. To me, it's work, and I have a much more respect for writers now when I did that. That's why I don't do it that much. It's not that easy to write. It's actually very difficult to write. I think more than coming up with the basic stories, the dialogue. For me, the dialogue was tough. It was tough to do.
You want me to?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you want me to read questions as they come in so you guys can chat and do your thing?
Sure. Well, I could highlight some of these too. I saw Desi wanted to know what your favorite run at Marvel was. It Captain America, and which I think, at least for me, is the second most popular book that you worked on at Marvel. Kazar, X-Men. I mean, do you have a favorite out of those three?
Yes, and the gentleman down below, Andy Clark. You're right. That was the artist that I worked with on the Joker thing. He did a phenomenal job on it. He was great, and I really apologize for forgetting his name. Each one of those characters or those titles, Captain America, Kazar, and X-Men, were different as far as the way I approached it. So, I love them each. I love drawing each of them. It's kind of hard to say because I put the same amount of effort and care into each one of them. X-Men had one approach. Kazar had a different approach. Actually, I did Kazar right after X-Men, and I wanted to do something completely different in look and style and just a feel than what I did on X-Men. And Captain America was the same. So it's hard to say if I had a favorite run on that. They were all great.
You also worked on Thor for a bit too, right?
I did Thor for a bit, yeah. Yep. And Ultimate Iron Man. And Wolverine Origin and 1602 and probably other stuff I forget.
Jeff was asking if you'll sign these. So for the Kickstarter, we made book plates for those who would like an autographed book plate. There's an upcharge for them, but they're limited just to the Kickstarter. So if that's something that you're into, they're available.
All right. Yeah. And I saw somebody was wondering if you could give you a kidney for some of the art today. I'm sure I would assume that's a no. I didn't find out. Where was that? Oh, there, Southern Comedy. Before the art sale starts, do you guys take kidneys or children? I would say that neither of those.
I love kids, but no.
Right, not acceptable for tonight's show.
My granddaughter was just here. She just left. She was going to come up and say hi, but she just left for a while ago.
I'm downloading a file that Jason just sent me to. 1602. Yeah, that's true too. And Instantly Film wanted to know about, what was that? Do you have any art from your work on Batman with Grant Morrison?
Yeah, I do. I got most of it. Most of what I got back. The inker Jesse Delperdane got his. I don't think Jesse sold that much of it, and I haven't sold that much of it either. Yeah, I still have it.
Cool. So is this the video you just sent me, Jason? Do you want me to play that? I can.
Yeah. If you want to show Andy, I sent him the Wolverine time lapse of you drawing that cover.
Sure. So Henry here asked me, before you do that, Henry asked me, would I like to have done a title like my father did, like Sergeant Rock or Tarzan? Tarzan I would never touch because I couldn't even come close to what my father did on that. He to me was the ultimate Tarzan artist. He was phenomenal on it. And Sergeant Rock too, but I would approach Sergeant Rock totally different than the way he did it. And I had a Sergeant Rock series greenlit from DC with Frank Miller. And we announced it. We were at a convention in Paris. We announced it. We came back. COVID hit. After COVID or during COVID, Frank got real busy. I got real busy. Things changed up at DC. So right now it's not happening. But I still have the story in my computer that we worked on and stuff. And someday I'd love to do it because it's a great story. It was very exciting to work on it with Frank.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let me share this video.
Yeah, that's me just method to my madness of trying to figure stuff out.
But that's how you generally lay out your work before you understand what you want to do.
Yeah, this to me is the toughest process, just figuring out what works. Sometimes I pick the wrong thing. I don't know. Sometimes I get it on the first try. Sometimes I don't. Is that it?
No, there should be it's a finish, no?
Oh, no, it's still playing. It just has a long pause there. It's still running through.
And you went to have lunch this time.
No, I'm banging my head against the table.
Yeah, here we go. I didn't realize I could fast forward it a little bit. There we go. That was the dinner break, Andy.
It should
I think this is all on an iPad Pro too.
Yeah,
it should go to a more finished state.
It's just sitting there at 106, 107, 108. It's got a few more seconds here till it gets to the end. It
should be 10 to 119, so you should see it all the way to.
Yeah, it went to 119. It actually is at the end, and that's where it stopped at. Sorry to say.
I think there's technical difficulties then because it goes to a more finished spot, but. There you go.
Yeah, that was the final thing that we did that for. What did we do that for, Jason?
So that was a card. So one of the Kickstarter awards is going to be a Wolverine a trading card. So that's going to be one of the stretch goals. But again, Marvel saw it and was like, "We want to use this as a cover." So they keep stealing our stuff.
Next is going to be a Gambit one, I think.
So yeah. The next, one of the next stretch goals will be a Gambit trading card. So what we did is we're redesigning some of the older trading cards from the 90s, and those will be add-ons into the Kickstarter reward system. So this was one of obviously the new ones, but there's a lot of great, cool cards that we picked from. So there's this one, Sabretooth. I think there's a Psylocke, a Team One, Apocalypse, Gambit. So we all repackaged them into like a nostalgic set.
Well, let's hope you reach out all the stretch goals, and then you can do them all.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. But there was a question. Jeffrey was asking, what are the plans after Kickstarter? Does it go to Amazon? The Kickstarter is the only place where you can get the hardcovers. That's going to be the exclusive, and that's going to be for people who support us there. We'll make soft covers for Amazon or for Diamond or for stores where you can get, but you can't get the hardcovers outside of the Kickstarter. We might have some on Essential Sequential just because we make some overages for damages and stuff, but otherwise that's the only place that you can get those ones. And the limiteds, I'm assuming will sell out pretty quick. And once those are gone, they'll be gone.
So what's the since we can't look at the page yet, what's the delivery estimation time with shipping and all that fun stuff?
Oh, I could share that with you, but we're looking to have it out in March, first quarter. So we should have enough time to. Well, first we have to still deliver our David Finch project, which we're still working through. So we had some issues there, but those should hopefully be out by the end of October. We've got J.G. Jones's that is about to go into production. Obviously, Andy's is coming up tomorrow, so it'll be a 30-day project. And then we're hoping by November. By the end of November, December is when we'll have actually files to the printer. And then as soon as stuff comes in, we're having a third-party shipper do all that stuff now, so I don't have to touch it. So hopefully, all the deadlines will be met and fans will get their stuff by the end of March.
Cool. Well, we have a couple pricing related questions. I think Ned's asked this a couple times and I missed it the first time. I wanted to know about what's going to be the higher, more expensive tier, remarks or the prelim art?
I think the remarks are more expensive. The prelims, I want to say, were around $100, $150, something like that. They're really inexpensive. The remarks Andy does, I don't know if you saw that note, but it's a more detailed little head sketch. So those I think will be a little bit more expensive. I was trying to twist Andy's arm to do some more, some bigger pieces, but he just has too much on his plate to actually do those at the moment. So if we can beat him over the head a little bit, maybe
beat him over the head, he's not going to be able to draw, and I don't think he's close enough to twist his arm, so he's safe for now. The other pricing question was: is there a chance for the viewers of the show tonight to get a preview for what the pricing tomorrow will be like, or is that something you just want to surprise everybody with?
Let me take a look, because we were still tweaking things before I came online.
No problem.
To make sure
it's not set in stone, I'd rather not show it just because we don't want to mislead anybody, of course. But
yeah, I mean the regular books. There's also an early bird section where like 50 copies we're doing. I think at like $50. I think the regular edition is $65, and there's a dust jacket edition at $75, and then the limited edition is either $120 or $125, and that comes with a slipcase and spot UV and all kinds of cool stuff.
Awesome. Well, there's a base. Yeah, there you go. James is giving it 2 thumbs up, I'd say.
Okay. Well, then hopefully he'll at least buy one.
Yep.
I don't use interns. I was just looking at one of the questions. No, I don't use assistants or interns.
So you never had anyone fill in your blacks?
Nope. No. I did try when I was on X-Men. I did try an assistant, like with backgrounds or tightening stuff up, and it didn't work out. Maybe on a couple pages it just didn't work out. So yeah. I do it all myself. For better or for worse, I do it myself.
Do you like doing that part? Or is it just frustrating, or it's just part of the game?
No, I like doing everything, but sometimes you just, you got assistants, sometimes you get it done on time. But it just, I'm kind of, I don't know, a perfectionist or what, but it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to come out. So it didn't go that way.
One of the other things that is kind of neat is we're doing some puzzles. I don't know. It's, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I don't know. I think they're kind of neat. So we're going to do a few puzzles too. I think of X-Men 24 and then the cover of the book. So if you're into puzzles, which some of us are, I'm pretty excited for those types of rewards. We'll have some stickers, notebooks, but the one that I'm most excited about is the slipcase and then also the notebook, because I use those notebooks all the time. So those are my 2 favorite pieces, as well as a door poster. I forgot to tell you, we're doing that big X-Men mansion as a big, huge door poster.
Oh, sweet.
So I know in high school I had like 2 of those hanging on my wall. So.
Well, Brian was actually asking a question about the slipcase. Are there different covers for the hardcover limited edition slipcase versions, or are they the covers all the same?
Nope. The covers are different. It's going to be a black and white version of the cover. So it's the basically the line art from the regular edition.
Cool. And then Jeff Dunn wanted to know about the remarks. Does the buyer get to pick the character, or does Andy?
Andy's gonna just do what he wants to do, and it'll be a grab bag.
It'll be an X-Men.
Yeah, so there you go. You're gonna be you should be happy if you're an X-Men fan. I mean, if you're not, why would you be buying the book unless you're just a fan of
It'll be
Andy's?
one of those guys. Yeah.
You put a sled in a Batman on there just for
that would be a surprise.
That would. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool rewards. We're trying to make it, interesting for fans. We came up with a little collector's box that we have, so your book will come nice and snug and fit into a box, and we'll have little postcards. And I twisted Andy's arm to make a pin for him.
I got to tell you, working with Jason does not skimp on anything, and I'm not kidding. And I got to hold him back. I said, "It's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost a lot." And he's like, "But I want," and I'm not kidding. Really, Jason? You tell him.
I mean, I like.
It's kind of like I'm on the phone with him. I go, "Jason, that's going to be a lot." He goes, He goes, "I want it to be the best product." I said, "I agree, but one thing that with the boxes and the embossing and
the foils. Don't forget the foil.
The foil and that special coating you put on, like
spot UVs. Got to add some zhuzh to it.
And those pins. A whole big thing about those pins.
Yeah, we have different colors, as Wolverine color, Rogue color. We're getting super nerdy with it because I don't know, we all stuff. So, we're just kind of trying to find fun things to put in there that collectors would like.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was one of them. Hopefully, you guys dig it.
James mentions holograms. There were a few hologram covers back in the day.
Yeah, they were awesome. Yeah, I just saw that too. Holograms would be awesome, but they're expensive.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that they were super expensive.
Yeah, I know when Marvel did the holograms on, like on X-Men 25 and that series, when all those came out, those holograms were great. They were real holograms. They actually made the sculpts for them and everything. They were awesome.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
T-shirts. Patrick was asking. Actually, we can't do Marvel T-shirts, but I asked Andy if he had any creator-owned stuff that we can put on there to include in the after project time frame. So we're going to work on that before the project ends to see if we can do I don't know, whatever Andy has laying around that might be cool.
Mm-hmm.
We were also talking about other things, that is public domain, maybe.
Yeah. Well.
Right.
You're a big Monsters fan, right?
Universal Monsters and stuff. Yeah.
So we're gonna see if we can put something together that'd be cool for that. Pogs. Yeah, we looked at Pogs. I don't know that. So the next thing is how to fit everything into a box that doesn't make us go crazy. We laid out a calendar, but now it's gonna be a little too late, so we figured we'd scrap that for this project.
You can only do so many things.
We can only do so many things, but we wanted to make it nice and it's something that I'd be happy to put on my shelf and stuff that I like to mess around with too.
I'm really glad you didn't mention Pogs to me because this is the first I heard about Pogs.
Yeah,
you never know what you're gonna get out of our chat.
Oh, Pogs! Pokemons.
It was in the back of our brain.
The one question Brian had, and it's probably because I think that that one covers the inside of the dust jacket. He says, "Well, the limited edition, the one that you said was going to be black and white, have the same inside of the dust jacket because, right? I mean, I think where was that one image you sent me? I know I showed it already, but the image on the left shows the inside of the dust jacket has the cover to issue 30
right
in it. So I think he's asking, will that be a part of the slipcase edition as well, even if it's a different cover?
I don't know if I have the asset. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but once it goes live, we'll show you what the covers look like and the inside covers. If there's any differences, you can see there. But I did tell Brian that I tried to make a few extra dust jackets, just like poster ones for him, so we'd have.
Yeah, well, there you go, Brian.
So we'd have a few of those for his collection. I just have to get with the printer and ask her for a few extras when it comes in. But I'll take a look and see what else I can share. I don't want to give too much away, but I think everyone will be happy. I think our team did a pretty good job in designing, a pretty core X-Men, X-fan related book. Mobile phone cases. Yeah. So there's only certain things I can produce with my license. So I can't just go crazy. I've tried and I've asked, and they're like, just stick to this and you'll be okay. So we've asked them for some weird stuff, and they said no. So
there you go. Well, they're very particular. Always have been, but that's okay.
Can't blame them.
Nope, not at all. So we're 40 minutes into this, Andy. We have about 110 people watching the stream, and I did want to, everybody, I think, at least got the word that we have some artwork that we're going to offer for sale tonight too. And I don't want to, and I feel like it'd be better to have you on for most of it, just so you can talk about the pieces and things. So if that's okay, we can kind of segue into that. Jason, we didn't really talk. This came together really quickly. I assume, Jason, anybody that claims anything tonight should be emailing you at jason@essentialsequential.com.
Yes, that reminds me to get a notepad out.
I've got my notepad out, so I'll be taking notes. But I didn't want to show your email address on the screen until I was sure that was the address that you want people contacting you at.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
All right, good. Yeah, you're not going to be emailing Andy about this, everybody. You're going to be dealing with Jason.
No, please don't.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely I'll have to reply to everybody tomorrow. And Andy still has a bunch of the art with him, so he has to ship them to me. Mm-hmm. And we've got Baltimore Comic-Con this weekend, so most likely things won't get mailed out until next week. So just be forewarned, there's going to be a little bit of time delay between when this ends and when I can get art out the door for you. Okay.
Baltimore's big. So Ned Smitty was curious about time payments. There's a few pieces that are a little expensive. I don't know. Do you work with people on stuff like that when once you have an agreement worked out with them, or how do you usually handle that?
We normally do, depending on the price. If Andy's okay with it, I'm okay with it. For generally speaking, we ask for 20% non-refundable down, and if you need a month, I guess, if you're cool with that, Andy, it's fine by me. But maybe no longer than a month or two, depending on the piece.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andy?
It sounds good to me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, we would preferably want to sell them immediately. So if it's a time frame thing and you claim first, we're gonna refer to whoever can pay first and immediately. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. All right. So, hey, Andy, before we get started, start with the sale, I've got one really, really, really important question for you. Who was the best leader of the X-Men? Best leader, in your opinion? There's money on that.
The best leader, Cyclops, right?
Yes. There we go. It's been said. I get more grief for saying that than anything. But now Andy Kubert.
I think it's a no-brainer. But
thank you, Andy.
What's the argument? Who's the other? They're saying what? Storm?
Well, Storm, of course, is because Storm beat him in a fight for leadership and blah blah blah, and But I said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was. He had many girlfriends outside of Jean and all the other problems he had. He's still the best leader.
He's a stud.
All right. Now I feel so much better now.
You've been vindicated.
I have been. Oh man. All right. Well, so we can get the sale started here. We can talk about the pieces. We have 9. I think there's 12 total pieces. 9 are DC related, and 3 are Marvel related. One, a couple pieces of card art actually, and one published amazing X-Men piece. So just prefacing that, we're going to start with the DC stuff first. I tried grouping it just by title as best I could because the way we got them in. But let's see here. The first one I put up here was from Challengers.
Challengers.
Yeah, the unknown.
With Klaus Janson.
Yeah. And you've done a little bit of work with Klaus, right, over the years?
Oh well, I did Dark Knight 3 with Klaus.
Yeah.
Then after that, we did this together. Yeah. This actually, this whole series, I forget the name of the series that DC was putting out, what the initiative was. It wasn't that long ago, but it didn't do that well. The whole initiative did not do that well. But I thought the idea was good based on it, and what they wanted to do, they wanted to pump up Challenger of the Unknown and the other titles that they were putting out, and maybe turn those into intellectual properties if they could, and that kind of thing. But I got to hand it to DC. They tried. They put forth a lot of money into it and effort. But as you know, some things work and some things don't. This was one that didn't. But that's where this page came from.
All right, and I think you also have some of these on your site too, right, Jason?
There should be a few. This one I found in a lot that needs to go up on the website. But there are a few other pages. This was one of the better ones. I just thought it was a cool splash page. So I don't know who the character is. I just was like, oh, that's a cool guy with a gun. Why not?
All right. Well, this one's still out there. We're going to show the next one. So this is lot 1, priced at $500. Lot 2 is from Robin Rises, issue 2, page 14. And this one's $1,150. So tell me a bit about this one. I know this is like one of the villains in the book or something, right? Calabac or something like that. But
something like that. Yeah. Like, is it? I forget his name.
You've drawn too many characters.
A lot of it, I tell you, I've drawn so much of this stuff. I forget what it is. Yeah, I remember drawing this page, and Jonathan Glappian did a phenomenal job making it, and it was a fun series to work on. But other than that, I forget. And so that's what happens when we get to a certain age.
Well, this is an older title too, right?
No, I think within the last 7-8 years.
Okay. Well, I forgot what I had for breakfast, so
yeah, me too.
Well, you've only been in the business for about 45 years, Andy. So you're allowed to forget a few characters here or there. I mean, it's just
I do forget stuff. I'm pretty bad at it.
Now let's see, where are we going from here? Damien, Son of Batman. So you wrote and drew this. This is
I wrote and drew this one, yeah. And this one, I also inked it. I penciled and inked this one. And there's gray ink wash in it. That's what all the gray stuff is. Because I really like the way when I drew Wolverine Origin, I like the way the Richard Eisenoff colored that. I like the way the pencils and the tones came through into the colors, and he colored it like a watercolor type of thing. And he did the same thing with 1602. And that was 1602 was all done in pencils also. But this, I wanted to do a combination of inks for where you wanted to direct your eye, and then everything else would be kind of engrazed to, it would kind of wash out from where I wanted the reader to look first. So Brad Anderson colored this, and he did a phenomenal job with it. And you can see all the tones come through on it. It worked out really, really well. These pages took me forever to do. So, but this one worked out nice. And a nice big shot of Damien. And actually, since that the Batman, the new Batman movie was announced by James Gunn that they're going to showcase Robin, Damien in it. I think this book went into another printing, or the sales on it picked up. It really did well just from that.
Very cool. So this, so writing and drawing your own title, even more difficult, or what do you?
On this, like I said, drawing from the script, my own script, it wasn't that difficult. Writing the script was difficult, but drawing from it wasn't. It's just that this is one of the few things out there that I pencil and ink myself as far as like interiors, because I hadn't really done that much interior inks on my own work, except for covers.
All right. Well, we actually have another page from this series. This is page 15 from book 4, and that's a very gory scene in this one.
It is. This one doesn't look like, this one is inked, but it doesn't look like inks.
Yeah, I think
the scan you have.
Yeah, we have to, and the contrast I think wasn't turned up at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the color piece, the color on the left, it's closer to the way it was inked and stuff. Yeah, this is very gory, and actually, Damon's a very Damien when he's a grown-up Batman. And yeah, he's very violent, which is awesome. I love that. Fun stuff to draw.
Yeah. Well, you wrote it too, so you got it exactly as you wanted. Now, when the letterer comes in here, I mean, obviously doing all the did you pretty much draw all of the ha 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 he all that stuff through there? I mean, that's
I think I lettered that in there. Yeah, I did letter that in there.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, and that Damien is, like you said, he is a violent character, but that's the way we, when I mean Grant Morrison and myself, when we first came up with this character, that's what we designed him as. But this one title, I wanted to make just a little push the boundaries a little bit on it. But that ha 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 that's all me. I mean, that's all my lettering stuff. I actually started out lettering first before I started drawing. My father taught me how to letter, and I was a letterer for a couple of years, before I actually started drawing. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a good.
I actually lettered some of Steve Ditko's stuff. I actually met Steve Ditko, went up to his office in his studio in Times Square.
Really?
Met him. Yeah, dropped off a job there. Yeah.
How was he?
He was okay. He did not like what I did at all. I mean, really? He did not like my lettering one bit. He told me, he said, "What's that?"
Yeah. So what did he say? What was
oh man, the guy actually, I think he was working on a title called Mr. A. I think that was his creator own thing. He did it with a writer named Robin Snyder. And I remember him taking the pages. Now this was, gosh, it could be like 1981, 1982. And he was showing me, he goes, this is all, he's slapping a page, he's taking the pages and he's slapping it like that. And, this is awful, but he was a tall guy. He was taller than me. And he kind of started getting up to me, and I was like kind of backing up against the wall. And it was at a time where I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And I was like, oh my God, I remember, am I going to have to defend myself against this guy? But that's kind of about all I remember about it.
Oh, well,
I remember also going back and telling my dad what happened. Because I honestly, I grew up just not as a comics fan, but I grew up reading mostly DC stuff, or all DC stuff, because that's what my father brought home. I never went to a comic shop or anything. I really had no idea who Steve Ditko was at that time. I really know the creator of Spider-Man, all that stuff. I had no idea. So I went back. I told my dad, because my dad taught me how to letter, and everything that I had done, Steve had contradicted as far as telling me I did it wrong. So I was telling my dad. My dad goes, "Don't worry about him. Don't listen to him. Just don't even worry about it." That was it.
Your dad will drop off the lettering work next time. Right?
Nah, he just said, he goes, just keep doing the way you're doing. Don't worry about what he says. And I never got another job from Steve. Never heard from him again.
Was that
you were about 18 or so, 17, 18 when that?
Gosh, I was in my first year in my father's school. So yeah, I was about 18, somewhere around there, maybe 19. But I remember going up in the studio. So I went through my dad's school the first 3 years, and that's what got me really into drawing and all that. But before that, my father taught me how to letter, and I was able to show my lettering portfolio to editors, and that got my foot in the door as far as art, drawing stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and somehow, I forget, it might have been Robin Snyder that gave me a call, or maybe it was Mike Friedrich from Starreach Productions. I forget. But they asked me if I wanted to do a job for Steve Ditko, and I had no idea who he was. And I said, sure, And plus, he was in Manhattan, which was only like 45 minutes from where I lived. And I said, once I get it done, I could drive it in. But I do remember going up into his studio, which was not that big. It might have been as big as this room I'm in. It's, I guess, a good-sized studio. But I just remember it being piles of original art all over, like stacks of original art. And he had his drawing table on one side.
Was that
I was like, that's kind of unusual having stacks of original art in your studio, because I know my father always, put it away nice in a place, in a storage place, and that kind of thing, But
was that the last time you lettered a gig?
for Steve Ditko, yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, Steve was notorious for using his art for cutting boards and other things. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it looked like that. But
later on, I heard about it and heard about that kind of stuff, But yeah, he had I guess long, gray hair going back, and he had his hair in a ponytail and stuff at the time.
Did you ask him for a sketch?
No, I got out of there as fast as I could. Get the hell out of there.
Oh man! All right.
Then I watched a video with Neil Gaiman going up to see him, and I forget, Jonathan Ross, I think they did a video where they went and knocked on his door or something, and, when he was in Times Square, and I remembered kind of it was the same office thing, the same front door and doorbell, that you ring and all that kind of thing, So, yeah, that was my Steve Ditko story. Anyway.
Well, we haven't had a good Steve Ditko story in a while, so that probably tops any other ones we've heard so far. Let's see, we're switching titles here in the art sale. We've got a Superman Up in the Air now. I'll tell you, when I know that like on this one it says issue 6, page 12. When I was digging through like some of the online resources, I think this page ended up showing up as if it was, because it ended up being like a 6-issue book. So maybe they like combined the pages and made them bigger, the stories longer or something. But I know it says issue 6. It has 4 that's scratched out and says 6. But either way, it's a great image that's inked by Sandra. But I think when my digging around, I think this was from issue 2. But okay. Derek in the chat is our professor, so he'll probably tell us one way or another. But
originally this series was distributed through Walmart. That was like part of DC's experiment to get distributed and have comics out in Walmart. So what we did was they just wanted 12 original pages for a story, and the rest was reprints. And I forget what they charged for it, but it was a nice, thick, heavy book. But I forget what they charged on it. But after that, I don't know if that, I don't think that went too well. They did a whole bunch of series. They did original Batman stuff. I think Brian Bendis wrote the original Batman stuff. Tom King wrote the Superman thing, which it's excellent. This is one of the best stories I ever worked on. It was friggin' phenomenal. But there was I think a Wonder Woman series that was out too. But after that, then DC collected it, and I think they put two of the 12-page stories into one issue, and that went to the direct market, the comic shops and stuff later on. So that's what you might have, Bill.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I'm not a big DC fan myself, but I actually read through this because I was intrigued by your art, and then when I was looking for the to find a printed image of it, the story looked really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was a little confused. And whenever I get confused, I have to go ahead and read it all, because I came in at like 3, right? And I'm like, he's boxing somebody, and then it's it just threw me off. But it was a great story, and this is just a great image. I mean, could have seen this be like the cover on it, right? Just because it's such a amazing piece of art. So
yeah, Tom wrote a lot of this stuff, and he told me, he goes, I wrote this, he goes, because I wanted to see you draw it. Which I found pretty funny. And it's great working with Tom, because he goes, what do you want to draw? He goes, it was 12-page issues basically. And I said, I'd love to do a Sergeant Rock story. So in this story, he wrote a Sergeant Rock one. And I had a blast doing it. It was a lot of fun. He was able to fit that in there. It was great. It was great working with Tom on this series.
Oh, very cool. This one's lot 5, priced at $5,500. We have lot 6 is priced at $1,250, and this is just a really nice image. I love the page layout on this. It's moody. Is an interesting part in the story. And again, we have this listed as issue 11, page 10, with inks by Sandra again. But yeah, really, really cool. What's a Tom King script like for something like this? I mean, how much direction is he giving you for this page?
Tom is very he's very open to what you do. And I approach whether it's a plot or a full script, I approach it the same way. If I see a better way of telling a story, I'll do it, without changing the story. But I kept pretty much on key with what Tom wanted. Now he would only do like 1 or 2 word descriptions per panel, which was more than enough for me, and I could go from that. He didn't like, bog me down with a lot of stuff. I adored working with the man. It was great. And I get along well with him too, personally. We get along really, really well. So no, it was a lot of fun. I'd love to work with him again. This is one story that really caught on. I sign a lot of these at conventions now because people love the story. It's not just a character or anything. They just like the story because it was a great story. And DC, I think they sold out of whatever they had as far as like hardcovers of the reprints and the soft cover, and they're going back to print. They're making some kind of special thing, I think, down the road somewhere on this stuff. But it was really nice, and it was a lot of fun to do. And Sandra Hope did a great job inking it too, and Brad did a nice job coloring it too.
Definitely. So let's see. Yeah, everybody's saying a great story. So I highly recommend it, everybody. If you can get the trade, you definitely should. Now we have one other page from this, and I think it's the end page. Yeah. This one's priced at $1,000, so it's the end page to that book. And you're right, it really is colored well. I mean, that last panel is
it's great,
spectacular. Yeah.
Ghost Machine did not take Brad Anderson by accident. I mean, they knew what they were doing when they took him. Brad's great. He's really great.
Yeah, no, I've seen his work before. You're right. But again, this is cool. End page. Everybody loves an end page, and so this one's kind of definitely sets up the beginning of the next book, which I think, at least in the one that I was reading, was the last one, because I think this was from 5 maybe. But all right, so that one's there. Now we've got, I think, a couple more DC pages, and this one's amazing.
Flashpoint. Yeah,
I'd like to see this one.
Yeah,
this is Sandra Zinks again. This is from Flashpoint 1, and this is brilliant. I mean, I love the that first panel. I mean, the 2/3 splash is it's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, Flashpoint was a great story. We worked on that with Jeff Johns, and had a blast doing that one too. And they made the Flash film out of this whole story. No, it worked out great. It was a lot of fun to do. I like that page.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree. Now this is one I set aside to read later. And you get Batman in it too.
Yeah. Flashpoint Batman.
Yeah,
it's really neat. I went to the film premiere. I got invited to the film premiere in Hollywood for this when the Flash movie came out, and it's really neat sitting there and watching it, how they interpret what you do and to put it into film, like where they held Superman, all the sewers and all that kind of stuff. I'm sitting next to my wife, and I said, I drew that. I did that. I drew that. So it's neat to see. It's really neat.
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed the Flash movie as well, and that's got to be totally cool to see things that you've drawn appear as even if it's just a second on screen. You know for sure that that your work was a reference in there. That's got to be awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really, really cool.
Okay, I have one other DC title here, and this is from Batman the Detective, issue 5, page 3.
Yep, that was from the last series I did at DC. Tom Taylor wrote it, and I love drawing trench coats. Enough said. Batman in a trench coat.
Yeah, now this one, I didn't get to read through this whole thing. I know the character that's with him is Squire, right? But
yes.
So yeah, I did not get. I mean, this is one I set aside as well to go back and check out. It looked fun.
It was a fun series. I enjoyed it a lot.
All right. Well, you have 3 more to go, and these are the Marvel related ones. And this first one I couldn't find the printed image of, but I have to believe it does exist. This is Daredevil card art, and
I really don't remember what this was from. I have no idea what trading card set this was from. Maybe somebody online knows. I really don't know.
I think it was the same one as that Beast one, that Fleer Ultra something.
This wasn't part. That Beast one, I think it was part of the X-Men set that Adam and my dad did too.
No,
This one, I don't. This wasn't part of the X-Men one, so I don't know where this was from.
Well, I dug around for a while looking at a lot of period Daredevil trading cards, and I couldn't quite pinpoint this one. But it does look like the same size and shape of the Beast one, which we're going to show next. So this was lot 10, priced at $1,500. Then here's the Beast that we were just talking about, price of $1,750. And we were talking about the coloring job early on, but this is like, what year would this be? Is this like 94, 95?
93.
93, even earlier.
Yeah, it was earlier. Yeah, 93, 94. Yeah, I think you're right, somewhere around there. Somebody said that was from the Onslaught card set. I just saw that.
Oh, the first one or this one? Or
Daredevil.
Oh, the Daredevil. Okay.
Yeah.
I will. I'll try to find the published image for that then. Thank you, Kareem. But now these were all digitally inked and colored. So the pencils, that's it. That's all there is from the published work.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that crazy about the way that, nothing against the colors and stuff. It was at a time where computer coloring was, just starting out and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But we were not that crazy about the way the colors came out, at all.
I'm just looking. 94 is when that. No, sorry, I'm looking online, see if I can find that set. 96, I think it is. 1996.
Alrighty. See, and I missed all this. This is that period where I wasn't buying anything comic book related. Sticky Rice says, any chance the Wolverine Adamantium Rage art is available? Is that a card? It probably was. It sounds like a card.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. 1996. Everybody's confirming your research, Jason. So
Google. Give it a
Google. All right. Well, this one's still out there. So we got we got the last piece. That was where are we at? Here we are. So lot 12, the Amazing X-Men #2, page 22. You get Quicksilver. This is we don't see too many pages from Age of Apocalypse come up too often, Andy. There's probably a good reason for that.
I think Doug bought them all. Yeah, I still have a lot of those left. I don't actively, like I said, I don't really actively sell a lot of the X-Men stuff now. I kind of did, when Jason and Doug used to come track me down at the school. But lately I really don't. I still have a lot of this stuff left. Yeah, but I had this page, and if somebody wants it, then.
Well, a gentleman named Southern Comic Geek in the chat has claimed it, just ahead of Dave Kopecki. So sorry about that, Dave. Thanks for the try, but Southern Comic Geek has got that one, and I see that we also had a claim on lot 7. So that's awesome too. A lot of people like to wait till they get to see everything before pulling the trigger. So thank you both. But again, this is cool to see. Obviously, when I got back into comics around 97, Age of Apocalypse books were the first thing I bought, because I figured that's my primer to figure out what the heck I missed in the 7 or 8 years when I wasn't buying. But I think this is a fantastic page. There's not enough of them on Comic Art Fans. It's representative examples of your work from this period, and it was really nice for me to get to see it too. I thought it was awesome. So,
hell, if I knew that, I would have dug some more out.
Well, as fans, the thing is, the cool thing about like doing Comic Art Fans and the website is, a lot of people like to share their art, but there's far more collectors that don't like to share their artwork. So there's pieces of your stuff in a lot of collections out there that we just don't get to see. So it was really nice to see that piece, and I'm sure Southern Comic Geeks can be very happy with this one.
Cool.
So what I would tell everybody, well, the two buyers, you need to email Jason, and I'll remind everybody of the email address, jason@essentialsequential.com. And if you have any questions about the Kickstarter, probably, Jason will be the one to answer that for you too. That's going to start tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. And anything else that I'm forgetting, Jason, that we'd want to let everybody know about as far as the Kickstarter tomorrow?
No, 11 a.m. Pacific. Was that 11, 12, 1? Was that 2 o'clock Eastern? Is that right?
Yep, 2 o'clock Eastern. And I would say anybody watching the show after the fact, if the 10 other pieces that are still available, hit Jason up. He'll let you know if they're still available after the show. I know a lot of people can't watch these things when we're streaming them live. A lot of people in Europe watch the day after. So if you saw something you like, shoot Jason an email. He'll let you know whether or not you can still pick it up.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I was getting worried there. We wouldn't sell anything.
Yeah. Hey, it's you never know. But and shows like these, I found people tend to wait till they see everything, unless it's like a gotta have must moment. So hey, it's all good. But Andy, dinner was not brought to you while we were doing this, so we lucked out.
No, it wasn't.
But again, Andy, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I'm so glad that you could hang out with us and talk a little bit about the Kickstarter. And again, if you ever need anything else promoted, either of you, obviously, Jason, happy to have anybody back on, and happy to talk about OA and the hobby and all the things we love.
Sounds great. And someday I'd love to show what do you guys show your own stuff up here, like you own or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because I have some pieces that I have, and
we'll pull something off real quick that you can show real quick.
I just got oh God, but this is all my own junk,
It's all junk.
I tell you what I do have that I really like, and I'm not going to get rid of it. It's a Sword of Azrael page.
Oh wow.
Is that Quesada?
Quesada and Kevin Nolan. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I got this. Gosh,
that's nice.
Actually, Jason, I traded Ray for this. One of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you trade? Do you remember?
It might have been an X-Men thing or something else. It could have been an X-Men or a Batman Predator piece. He got a couple of those off me. He might have got the better part of the. Well, I don't know money wise, but I am very happy with this. I like this page a lot. What else do I have? I don't know if anybody saw. Oh, I showed this on another thing. This one I'm very. I mean, it was on the back of Marvel Comics or Got Milk. Let me get this later. Got Milk ad, but I was so happy because I met Stan Lee in the green room at a convention at Toronto, and I had him sign this to me. And I got photos of him with me on with this thing. So I was really, really happy to get this.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Did you just happen to have it with you, or you knew you were going to bring it to have him sign?
No, I just had it with me. I was actually going to, this was a long time ago, and I was actually going to sell it, but I wanted to have something for him to sign and not just a sheet of paper. So I said, I'm not going to sell this. I'm going to have him sign it. So, he signed. He was very, very nice. He signed it. We took pictures and stuff, and I got to get it framed.
Yeah, I wasn't hanging up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna hang this one up. That was a good one. What else do I have? All right, I got also. These are my own stuff. If you guys watched it, there was a Kickstarter that G.I. Joe did. For compendium set that went to like $4 million.
Yeah,
a lot. And I did all the art for it for the book. Anyway, these are the originals from it.
Yes,
that's awesome.
This is Duke. Yeah, this stuff was a lot of fun to do.
Damn.
This one, this is a prelim. Actually, I'll show that one. Okay, this is the prelim that I usually do. This was the Storm Shadow trading card.
That's cool.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thanks.
Marcus wants to claim that one.
We have a lot of GI Joe fans in the audience, so you're making them salivate in the chat.
I got some covers too. Wait a minute. This is
Oh, that's
Cobra
awesome.
Commander. I love drawing this stuff. As you can tell, I have a blast with this. And these are a pain in the butt. These were
nice.
the landscapes. This is all the Cobras.
I'll take that one. Claim
Landscape.
claim that one.
These were a lot. These took a lot of time, and I had to get them done rather quickly. This reminded me of drawing X-Men.
Oh yeah.
This thing here. But I really enjoyed this stuff a lot.
Did they tell you when you did the layouts? Did you put Storm Shadow and or Snake Eyes in the middle, or did they say here's where we want everyone, or was that just up to you to lay out all the characters?
No, that was just me because I knew the ones you want to focus on the most and stuff. You know, they might have said to me, you know, maybe with this one, okay, this is I forget his name. What's his name? But I know I put him in the front for a reason. So they might have told me to put him in the front, and they wanted the I forget the dog's name too,
Timberwolf.
the wolf. Timberwolf.
Right.
Timberwolf. They wanted him in there pretty prominent too. Let me see if I can. Oh, this one I'm laying around too. This one's pretty big. I'm gonna have to stand up for this one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is Wonder Woman. This was actually they used it for covers. Okay, there's Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and then they turned it into a poster, which was very nice.
That's horrible.
Yeah. This one's pretty big. Oh, don't want to bend it.
That was amazing.
What? One more.
One more. Which one?
What do you have handy? Give us a good one to end the night with.
Oh gosh, I don't know. All right.
Now you don't have stacks of art in your studio space like Steve Ditko, right? Because I can't see what you're doing. You know,
no, I do not. No, I don't. I just pulled some of this out of storage stuff. I got a ton of GI Joe covers here that I did. This was an old Batman cover from Whatever Happened to Cape Crusader. This was I think cool. This was awesome. One of the variants. Yeah, I think this was based off Batman, the famous Batman cover. I think Batman 1 or something.
Right. No, it's an homage.
Homage, right? Yeah. Yep.
Where's that X-Men 25 cover? Have you found it yet?
No, I lost that. Oh, that was a story, man. I thought I lost that sucker. What else have I got? I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing this stuff.
No, hey, we're all art collectors, Andy. We love looking at it. So.
Oh gosh. All right, these are all GI Joe covers, but let me get one of these. The other one. Here's number one, the first one. Oops. You can pull back.
There we go.
These are a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. Well, was that a number one cover?
That's the first one. Yeah, the one Skybound took it. When Skybound put it out, yeah.
Jeff Dunn is asking
for Snake Eyes.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, this was fun to do. I love Snake Eyes. He's fun. You could do a lot with him.
Well, he's the coolest of the batch, right?
He's just a great looking character. I do have that page that somebody bought, I think. You want to see that?
Hey, the page that what?
I was just looking through, yeah. And you have to remind me. Oh, and I got to sign it too when I send it to Jason. This one, I think somebody bought that one.
Oh yeah,
Age of Apocalypse one. Yeah. Okay. So now you know I have it.
It's there.
I'm going to send it to Jason. That's going in that pile.
It's as clean as the day it was drawn almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming out of my bins. That's about it.
Someone was asking about X-Men 24. Is that nearby?
No,
it's gone.
No, I don't have it. I sold it.
To me.
No, I didn't. No, I still have it. No, I don't have it nearby though.
Yeah.
It's not a show and tell night, everybody. You get what you get. That's how it goes. But Andy, honestly, if you ever wanted to show off pieces from your collection sometime, I'd be very happy to have you back on, and we could talk about stuff that you've collected. And if when you have time, you have a busy schedule, but I'd be happy to have you back on to talk about art anytime. Jason,
I appreciate
you're welcome to come and hang out too, because we all. I mean, I think Jason was getting he's getting a little anxious looking at some of that stuff himself. So that was awesome. Thank you for doing that, Andy.
No,
sure. And thanks for having us, and thanks for letting us talk about the Kickstarter and stuff. And thank everybody for showing up to this too. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. Now remember, everybody, the link is in the show description. Sign up so you get the alert when when everything goes live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a 30-day Kickstarter with lots of rewards that original art collectors I know are going to be interested in. So thanks, guys, and thank you everybody for hanging out with us. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you again soon.
Have a good night.